Hi all, Hal here with more Empyrion, and today I wanted to show you a little bit of the behind-the-scenes thought process for the purpose-build ladder that I did for specifically the Ironman challenge in the abandoned factory. So what I want to do is let me show you what some of the logic is behind it and why things ended up built the way that they did. First, we have to get started, so let's go. Okay, so as you can see, this is a mess of different things going on in here. So let's start by showing you what my thought process was. Now, I know in the different bases that you're going to end up with like the pit traps, or there's going to be areas where, you know, you just end up with like drop shafts that you can't come back up from. So let's go ahead and grab one of these. We are going to place, let's go over here so that we are out in the way, just so we don't have any interference from the... Oh wow, it actually... Nice. I like the auto level and clear. Thanks, guys. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just build a little bit of a base here. That's going to go there, so we're going to go ahead and take that up a few blocks, take that up. Doesn't have to be anything like ridiculously over large or anything like that. We're just doing this for a demonstration. Oh, hiccups. My excuse me. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to end up building a few of these just to give us a little bit of extra room in case we need it. Right? Okay. So now, something to keep in mind, each one of the large block holes like this, each large cube, is technically 4 small cubes in length. So this is a 4x4 space. Now, the problem that you run into is that when you're spawning items in, let's bring up one of our ladders, actually. I'll show you, this is the one that we actually used in the Ironman. So if you notice, this is a 3x3 footprint. Now, what happens is there's a small bounding box around the item that you're trying to spawn in, and that is based on the number of blocks on the footprint. So if you have something that's 3x3 like this, what happens is that when you get it into the space, as you can see, you've got a little bit of free space in there. See if we can... There we go. And you can spawn it in, right? Easy peasy, right? Let's go ahead and get rid of that. And then now that it's in here, you can do whatever you want with it. In this case, you know, if you want it to open the door or whatever. And that's our basic ladder. Now, if you are trying to spawn in a large grid version of this, and this is originally what I had wanted to do, was a large grid built with a door and, you know, a little latch piece there so that it would catch on the way down. I keep doing that. Alright, so like I said, what I originally wanted to do was this. Now we're going to go ahead and swing this beast up just a little bit because we want it to be just tall enough. Okay, see, since this is based on a base grid, it needs to actually be in contact with the ground, right? So we come back in here. We're going to go to the 3rd ladder. Oh, that's actually a base, so 4th ladder. So if you notice here, the basic footprint is 3x3, but we have a block on the top on the lip there to catch on the ledge. So what we need it to do is we want this to go just a touch. See, they do the weirdest thing with the movement in this game. Is that close enough? No. So we want it to be able to basically catch onto the ledge there and be able to drop it. This was originally what I wanted to do with it. The problem that I ran into is that, well, it doesn't want to do this because of the bounding box around the structure. Because what I was hoping to be able to do is to basically be able to use something like that here. So we want to see if we can get this in here. Let's see, can we get that? There you go. So that it would do something like that. Now, the problem that we have with it is that doing something like that in the competition, the base has a ceiling, so you know this thing requires enough free space for you to be able to get in and out of it, which you wouldn't be able to do with a ceiling above you because most of the ceilings were no more than 3 tiles up. So the areas that I was using this, we wouldn't have been able to spawn it in and have it drop like that. You had to be able to spawn it in the hole and have it drop down to a usable location, which is what we ended up doing. So that's why we ended up with the design we ended up with. I would really like to have been able to use something like this where it would catch on multiple sides. Unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be in this particular case, but in other bases, especially if you were doing a base raid on another player, this is definitely something you'd be able to use because, depending on the base, obviously, because once you punch a hole, you basically would just need this to be something that you could reseal behind you. Let's see here, where do we have one there, but that one's trapped. Let's get over here, because if we take what we know is a working model, let's go ahead and grab this. Let's grab a few more plates. Like I said, if I was going to do something like this for a PvP base raid, what I would do is more along the lines of this. So that once I punched a hole in the ceiling, if I knew that there was good stuff in the middle of the base, and you could do this for every time, but basically anything that you would be punching a hole in the base for. I'm going to save this as the 5th ladder. Not really worried about the spelling right now. Show you here. And what we would be able to do. Turn off God mode. Let's go ahead and bring up our 5th ladder. And see, as you can see, the red block is just too big, right? So if we page this up enough, because what we would end up with is effectively bring this back. Let's see here. But you get the idea what we're trying to do, right? Hopefully. And I would really like the ability to get rid of entire structures. It would make our lives so much easier. And unfortunately, because of the way that the grids work, I think that is going to say that we are unable. Oh, nope, we can actually place there, so they did fix that finally. Alright, so we'll do this like this. You know what they say, leave it to Hal to screw up the easy stuff, right? So, as I said, if I was going to do something for a base raid, I would probably build something more like this. Have has a couple of different benefits. One of them being it's now completely latched up here. When you open this thing up, as you can see, you have ways in and out. And if you're using, since we're in creative mode, if I turn on my jetpack, unfortunately, I continue to hover. But this would also give you a way back out using a normal jetpack. And if you really needed to, you know, bring a couple of extra blocks along and basically build out a little bit more of a ledge in the case that you needed it. Because, you know, the jetpack being the jetpack, never quite sure what you're going to get when you jump into stuff. But yeah, so this is basically a small portable way of getting in and out of bases. Very cheap, very effective, especially once you've done a little practice with them. But yeah, so that is one of the benefits of having it set up so that the SVs, HVs, and other vehicles don't need landing pads to spawn. So anyway, that's going to be pretty much it for today. So that was, like I said, the idea and concept of what I wanted to do with the ladder system. For the next time I use something like this, I'll probably end up using something like this 5th ladder, because not only does it give you the ability to get in and out of bases, if you're doing something where there are hostiles in the area, when you have this hole, you can close the door behind you, and that keeps creatures from walking down the entrance that you are now using. So gives you a little bit of a secure option as well. Alright, so with that, I'm going to get out of here. I hope everybody enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them down in the section below the video. If you have any, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't done so already or new to the channel, I also do ask that you subscribe, as the likes, subscriptions, and questions all do help the channel to grow and are greatly appreciated. But more importantly, they let me know that you're enjoying the content, and that's what I want to be doing. So hopefully this answered some of the questions that people have been asking about why and how I came up with the design. And if not, feel free to continue throwing those questions down below or reaching out to me over on Twitter, and I'll be glad to answer as much as I can. On that note, we're going to get out of here. I hope everybody has a fabulous day. Have a terrific week, and we will see you back here next time for more Empyrion. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody.